avoid it because I'd rather have, if a person is King James and they have the same doctrine as me, then I'd rather keep it at that. But, I can't be afraid to touch on every issue to some extent. I mean, the layman seminary needs to touch on everything a seminary does to some extent. So let me share my screen real quick. So this is what Will Kinney said. He said, as for links of the things we might want to discuss, I have two main categories. Okay. One is doctrinal errors in the modern versions, and the other one I call the Bible agnostic test. There's a lot of information here, many things we can choose from to discuss. So the first one is fake Bible versions do teach false doctrines. Link to examples. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this, and this is gonna take us there. Do y'all see what happened, guys? Watch my screen. You should have saw something pop up. I don't know if this is a false reading, but his entire site, every time you click on it, Avast is saying that it's filled with Trojans. Okay? So, y'all are my witness about that, all right? Avast can handle it. I'm not worried about it. I mean, but so maybe it's good that we're investigating it from my computer and not from yours. So this is his site, brandpluck.com. Y'all pray that he gets his site cleaned up. Fake Bible versions do teach false doctrines. Link to examples. Fake Bible versions do teach and pervert several biblical doctrines of theology and the infallibility of the Bible. Any Bible in any language is a huge doctrine that most Christians do not believe anymore. For ye have perverted the words of the living God, of our Lord our host. Jeremiah 23:36. Okay? And we could probably go into the context and find out why they perverted it or whatever, but let's get right here. I have often heard from those who do not believe. Let me look in the chat. Seeing stuff pop up. Okay. PB, let me know if you want to come in. I'll give you the link. I've often heard from those who do not. I think I got my ducks turned down too low. Y'all thought I was going to say I have my ducks in a row. I have my ducks in a flow, is what I say. Alright, go ahead, PB. Let me know when you're backstage. I've often heard from those who do not believe that any Bible in any language is the complete and 100% true words of God, that no doctrines have been changed in its various contradictory Bible versions on the market today. Well, guys, I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything, but this is not good English. I mean, come on. Let's see what happens if I put this in Grammarly. Oh, there's my Logos thing. I didn't even know that was still there. Let's just see if I put this paragraph in Logos and see and run Grammarly. Let's see. And it's all right. Maybe he's just not good at English. This was I have. Come on. Choose where Grammarly works. It should be working right now. There it goes. So Bible, Bible capital. It just seemed choppy when I was reading it. Maybe I'm being picky. Let me run the Microsoft editor and see what they say. Yeah, he's using contractions in his writing, which you're not supposed to do, but maybe you can get away with it if it's a blog. So what is the big deal? But still not too bad. It just sounds worse when I read it. I don't know why. PB, you backstage already? Okay. Hey. Read this, and I thought Grammarly would turn it all kinds of colors, but it didn't.
Okay.
Go ahead, start reading this.
I have often heard from those who do not believe that any Bible in any language is the complete 100% true words of God, that no doctrine, I would say comma, and that no doctrine has been changed in the various contradictory Bible versions on the market today.
So this capitalization, he's yelling.
So I would put a period after market today, and I would put a rhetorical question. So what's the big deal? Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think he's very strong in English. I mean, just looking at this, my first impression is he's not very strong in English. But he probably knows the King James English very well. The purpose of the articles linked here is to point out some critical areas of Christian doctrine that most definitely have been changed and even perverted. The majority of examples of where the phony or inferior Bible versions corrupt or distort sound theology are not the result of textual differences. Most of them are the result of translational errors. Okay, so he's saying it's not a manuscript issue, it's a translation issue most of the time.
I would say it probably is a manuscript issue, because a lot of them do use a critical text, and obviously if it's like if you're copying a recipe, it's like it depends on what the source of it is. But
yeah,
another big issue is that I read recently that for copyright issues, the like every version has to be at least, it can only be up to 25% similar to the King James. So that means they're all at least 75% different. Sometimes even more so.
Yeah, Logos does all that. It'll show you the differences on any given reading.
Yeah.
So the links provided will lead you, if interested, to a much more developed article that goes into more depth, showing. Now, this is the first one. It's going to say, can God be deceived? The NSAB says that the children of Israel deceived God. Not just tried to deceive or thought they had deceived, but deceived him. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try to use our Bible study methods to try to make sense of these things, okay? So, you notice he's got Psalm 78:36. Can God be deceived? He's got the NASB, the Legacy, Young's, NET, ISV, Holman, Blunder. The fact that he has the Legacy, I mean, at least he's keeping it up to date, you know?
Yeah.
So the KJV says, and all of these say, nevertheless, they did flatter him with their mouth, and they lied unto their tongue, and with their tongues. But the NASB says, but they deceived him with their mouth and lied to them with their tongue. Okay, and he's saying that the NASB corrected that and lined it back up with the King James, but they flattered him. Okay, so let's just pop the NASB. Come on. And that's Psalm 78, what? 36. I don't need this one. Don't need that either. Psalm 78, 36. All right, so let's get a little bit of context. Oh boy, that's a long one. But this title kind of says it all, right? God's guidance of his people in spite of their unfaithfulness. So let's start around where we see a paragraph break. Looks like there's one, and it's hard to tell. Looks like 30, that's bold. All right, right here. Let's start at 32. In spite of all this, they still sinned. Okay? And did not believe in his wonderful works. So he brought their days to an end in futility, and their years in sudden terror. When he killed them, then they sought him, and returned and searched diligently for God. And they remembered that God was their rock. So this relates to Deuteronomy 32. And the Most High God, their Redeemer. Right? But then it says, but they deceived him with their mouth and lied to him with their tongue. So you see the problem that he's saying?
Yeah.
Can God be deceived?
It's a parallelism in the Hebrew. It's deceived and then there's lied. So they're essentially the same thing.
Right. Yes, I was thinking the exact same thing. But they deceived him with their mouth. And this also explains how they're deceived with their mouth. And that may be why the King James used the term flattery. Okay. But look right here. 4. This is an explanation. For their heart was not steadfast toward him. So how did they deceive him? Because their heart was not steadfast toward him, nor were they faithful to his covenant. But he, being compassionate, forgave their iniquity and did not destroy them. So let's think for a minute. Can you think of any possible reason why they wanted to use the word deceived here?
Well, because it could be the underlying Hebrew word. It could be different than lied. And in terms of this,
yeah, it's a different Hebrew word, but they obviously when you're translating that, but they deceived him with their mouth. They could understand where that could be a problem, right? You're saying God could be deceived?
Yeah.
Or is this speaking of a specific literary motif? Is this the idea of a man being cheated on?
Well, yeah, I think it's meant to be like a personalization of God, but not actually that like he actually got deceived. Because sometimes it'll say like a God repented, but then sometimes he says I will not repent. So then which one is it?
Yeah, I've written a paper on that. What I've argued is that whenever he's made a promise like covenant, or like a promise where he's going to do something, he will not repent. He will not relent. And yeah, King's Table, he says you can be lied to but not deceived by it. You're right. I understand the idea. The issue is that this 4 is explaining what this means. For their heart was not steadfast toward him. So the way that they deceived him was their heart was not steadfast toward them. So how do you deceive somebody if your heart is not steadfast toward them? And faithful to the covenant.
I mean,
what's the connection?
Well, the connection is they deceived him with their mouth, but their heart was not steadfast. So they were believing something, or they weren't trusting in him, in his covenant faithfulness, but they said they were, in a way.
Right. You ever heard this saying, a pair of lips can say anything?
Yeah.
Or how about this one? Your mouth is writing checks that you can't cash or whatever.
Well, that one I probably just heard right now.
Okay. Well, that was a softer variation of it. You know, if you're gonna talk, you talking mad bull, but you got to back it up. The point is, is that they were disciplined by God, and then they're brought back into being faithful. But then they deceive with their mouth. They probably, after they were being disciplined by God, they're like, oh, we're going to serve the Lord. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And they were lying.
Yeah.
So, well, let's look at the Hebrew word. Patah. To be simple, be inexpert, be gullible. Entice, to deceive, prevailed, simple, seduce, gossip, persuaded, allure, silly. All right. And see, another thing is, it could be an example of irony, that they thought they could deceive him, but it describes it in direct language because from their perception, they thought they got away with it.
Okay? Yeah.
There's times in the Bible, like he'll talk about the chariots, that the reason that they couldn't be victorious is because they had many chariots in the mountain. It wasn't the chariots, because God could have destroyed that, but it was describing things from their perception. Some people even think the grasshopper thing is like that.
Well, I would say that in terms of this specific instance, the writer or the guy who wrote about this, he's inconsistent with this because in the King James, and really only in the King James, in Galatians 5:4, it says, "You who are justified by the law," but then another translation say, "You who are trying to be justified by the law."
Right, and I understand why that is. That's a Greek issue. And I'll show you why about that in a minute. So hold that one. I'll tell you what. That is connected to this idea. So where's that passage?
Galatians 5:4.
Galatians 5:4. All right. Give me 1 second, because that is connected. Because when I thought about this passage, I thought about the same idea. It's called a tendental, if I remember right. You who are seeking to be justified. Okay. So if you look right here, right, here's your verb. Here's your person. It's a present tense, right? You are seeking to be justified.
Yeah.
Now, whenever we pop this in, let's just go to the exegetical guide. If this don't pull it up fast enough, see that right there, connotative, tendental, volantive, present. So this is in Wallace's grammar. So this is the very thing, and we'll check the Hebrew in a second as well. Connotative, like a thought, connotation. Yeah. Tendental, like tendency, and voluntative, what you want to do, the present. Go ahead, read.
This use of the present tense portrays a subject as desiring to do something, voluntative, attempting to do something, connotative, or at the point of almost doing something, tendential. This usage is relatively rare. We'll break this down into two categories: in progress but not complete, true connotative, or connotative, and not begun but about, desired to be attempted, voluntative, tendential. This general category needs to be distinguished from the futuristic present, which typically denotes certainty that an action will be carried out. A. In progress but not complete, true connotative. Definition and key to identification. This present tense is used to indicate that an attempt is being made in the present tense, indicative mood, often bears the connotation that the action will not be completed. The key to identification is attempting unsuccessfully.
Now look at the chart. Well, how about that? You're telling me the chart is based on the Greek?
Well, there's present tense, and then there's a future, but it's obviously not there yet.
Right. It's what you intend to do. It starts in the present. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Diagram 55. The force of the true connotative present. Note, the symbol O is used for all actions that are either not accomplished or not begun. Illustrations. Galatians 5:4. You who are attempting to be justified by the law. Or what is it? Oitines and
Nomo.
Dikaio say. Yeah. If this were a derivative present of some sort, the translation would be you who are being justified by the law. Obviously, such a meaning for this text would contradict the whole point of Galatians. Paul is not declaring that they are being justified by the law, but that they think they are, or they are trying to be. Though their attempt can only end in failure.
Yeah, but so you get it, and that could be even. You think you got one all over on me, right?
Yeah.
All right. So now let's do the same thing. I got a new Hebrew grammar. Yeah, this is an intermediate one. Okay, so what we want to do is we got to go back to the Hebrew, okay? But they deceived him. This is probably an imperfect. Yeah, vayikto. So a vayikto is when you have the vav plus the imperfect attached to it, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so now we go here and we look at the table of contents. And I've never used this book yet, so give me a second. Semantic analysis. So you got temporal prepositions, verbal system, verbal stems. All right. And I know I have a grammar on my shelf if I can't find it in here, but give me a second. Maybe I shouldn't use this one. It's all right. I'll get it. I need an intermediate grammar. That one shows up, but I need something better. We'll just go with Walkie and Connor to get us started. So if we go to the imperfects,
Who's AA?
I don't know. Where's AA?
It's in the
Oh, that's Ryan, the Presbyterian.
Oh.
I'm looking for the connotative. COGNO. Okay, new way. Let's do it this way. I'll tell you what. Sorry, guys. I got this grammar. All right. Yeah. Okay, this one right here. I know this one pretty well. So it's going to give a discussion of the verbs, syntax of verbs. the voice, imperfect, and the function of them, and the syntax. Come on. Syntax of clauses. Causal. All right. What's that word? Connotative?
Cognitive.
C-O-G. How do you spell cognitive? C-O-N?
It's C-O-N-A-T-I-V-E.
All right. Tendental?
T-E-N D-E-N-T-I-A-L.
This is I need to have my stuff organized better. Okay, I'll get it. Exegetical guide. And grammatical constructions. No. Journals, grammars, number, section, the dative, no. Style, no. Search all grammars. Let's try that. Grammar, Old Testament Greek, Hebrew syntax, 3rd edition. Okay. I'm just going to show you what Alan Ross says about this passage. And I think it's the same classification in the Hebrew as the very passage that you showed me. Look. I clicked the wrong one. Commentary. So look right here. But with their words of trust, they deceived him, or tried to deceive him. You see that?
Yeah.
So I guess I need to look for the word attempt, maybe. Attempt for terminology, no. Maybe I'll look for attempt in this one. This is not good. Okay. So this is the 2nd edition, and I think this is the 3rd edition. Maybe this is, I don't know. Attempt. See, it should not be hard. We should just be able to go to the verbs, the modals. It could be aspect. I don't know. Perfect. Imperfect. Customary. Progressive, contingent. See, same language for the Greek. Modals, jussive, command, wish, benediction, prohibition, permission, exhortation. All right, let's try this. Explain the Hebrew syntax of Psalms. What is it? 78?
Yeah.
78 what? What's the verse?
30.
36. 36. Explain the Hebrew syntax of Psalms 836. Tendental imperfect. Or connotative. All right, we'll wait for the robot. Okay, do you see this?
Yeah.
Cognitive imperfect. It expresses a psychological state or perception rather than a physical action. In this verse, it denotes the insincerity of people toward God despite their outward expression. And we'll see what that source takes us to. Contextual meaning. The verse describes how the people deceive God with their words, suggesting a lack of genuine repentance. It doesn't help. Grammatical analysis. The form deceived in Hebrew reflects ongoing or habitual deception, highlighting a persistent state rather than a single event. We'll see where that one goes. In summary, Psalm 78:36 uses the cognitive imperfect to emphasize the continual deceitfulness of people. I don't think that's right. No thanks. Okay, William Lane. Let's see what your exegesis teaches us. Let me just type imperfect. He might use the term vayikol. Yeah, he is. Okay. That's fine. We can do it that way too. So let's just type in deceived. You're not going to use the word deceived? I feel deceived. Acknowledgements, abbreviations, history of interpretation. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Syntactical analysis. He's going all the way to verse 1. I want to go way to verse 36. Man, this is some killer work, though. Just he's not. Got to go further. All right, 36. We're getting close. Remembrance, strike they flatter. He treats it as flatter. 36. So I bet you it's a condental imperfect. But I gotta prove it. Let me try flattery. It's not okay. tell you thank you later. I don't think it was searching all the words. No, not deceived. I saw the word flat. There's flatter. All right. Here it is. Verse 36 is a conjunctive verbal clause. That's just another word for vayikto, introduced by the vayikto verb. Vayiftuhu. It continues the event line, in other words, the main line in verse 35a. It has been translated in contrast with the previous clauses. This is one case. Here, I'll blow this up so other people can see this. This is one case where the Vav consecutive expresses a logical contrast. Although the people repented and remembered that God was their Redeemer, they turned against him with their flatterer mouths. So repentance is superficial, possibly to gain favor. The point is reiterated 36b, which is syndictic disjunctive verbal clause, and is according with 36. As previous verse, syntactical elements clause are inverted in relation. Here is employed to indicate simultaneous action. For their hearts are not loyal to him, they're faithful. Are you really not going to address it? That's horrible. Sorry, dude, you failed us. I think this is the same paper. Yeah. Okay, what about this one? Okay, Handbook of the Psalms, I have that. So, let me try this. Sorry I'm boring y'all, but I mean, this is how research is. I got too many things open. You still there, PB?
Yeah. Actually, I think something came up, so I might have to leave early. But good luck.
Okay, no problem. Thanks. Later.
Later.
Cognitive imperfect. I'm gonna get this, guys. I know it exists. I'm not crazy. Let me just narrow it down to cognitive imperfect Hebrew oh my goodness. Attempt to oh, this is so frustrating. Okay, let's do this. Hebrew imperfect. Hebrew imperfect. Express incomplete action. Modal values could, should. Let me check this one for cog. Dang. I ain't done yet. I'm gonna get it. Okay, this goes into more detail. I'm gonna put the word attempt to. I'll get it. I'll get it. Hebrew imperfect trying to come on. Maybe there's something in Wallace. Like I said, I know it's that, but I gotta prove it. I can't just say it's that. I gotta prove it. Connotative. Why was I looking at? Oh, I'm so dumb. I got it now. I'm gonna get it. All books. Okay. Connotative. I bet you I get it now. All right. See, this could be understood as a connotative imperfect expressing unrealized desire. This is when they were wanting to name, but this is Greek. Mark, Luke. This is all Greek. I want some Hebrew. Give me some Hebrew. Okay. Let me try this Hebrew again. Just go to the internet then. Connotative imperfect Hebrew. Finally, my goodness. Okay, it's a JSTOR article. see if I can find my seminary. Well, the notive perfect in Hebrew. Alternate access options. Read online. I know I already have an account. All right. The volative or connotative idea is generally expressed in Hebrew either by the word bakash or a synonymous verb followed by the preposition lamed and the infinitive construct about the simple and perfect yikto. Examples of the connotative bakash are numerous. Volative simple imperfective is commonly recognized by grammarians. All right, so it's mentioned in Juon grammar. There are some cases in which a connotative idea is expressed neither by the verb, bakash, or synonymous verb, nor by the simple or perfect, but by the vayikto. That's what we're talking about, which is usually translated, and he did. A render which misses the connotative meaning of the imperfect. In these cases, it's context, not the grammatical form, which determines the correct meaning of the verbal form. The following case deserves consideration. All right, so I'm just looking for some skimming. Like the correct translation of Genesis 3:15, he will attack you in the head and you will try to attack him in the heel. That's an option they're saying. Okay, so let's try narrowing it down. Now we know what we're looking for. Connotative imperfect in Hebrew for Psalm 78:36. Surely someone's written about it. This is so frustrating. It mentioned Juon a while ago. Check my Hebrew grammars. There's no reason why, out of all those resources, why this is not showing up. This is insane. Hebrew grammar. Okay, this is Bill Mounts. How to think about grammar. Let's see if I can find the Hebrew. Hebrew syntax. John. Syntax. Okay, you already mentioned that. Walking Arcana. Okay, let's see if we can human verification. The connotative perfect. Oh, no, that's site. Oh my gosh. It should not be this hard. Then I gotta find what I need from this paper here. It's gotta be in here. It gave a mention of this grammar, P-yon. This is so old though. All right, P-yon. Okay, so here's the grammar that they're using. Oh, it's Chiron and Maropa. All right, I have that one. Okay. Section 113 notes. So 1. The volatile, nuanced, simple, and perfect is commonly recognized by grammarians. Okay. Conative. All right, I'll just go with volative then. Direct volative moves and imperative. Indirect volative moves. Come on. Okay, section 113. Yiktah. Yiktah is a perfect though. It's not an imperfect. We need the Vayiko form. But let's go ahead and let's do volatives. Chapter 6, volatives. Going deeper with volatives. Oh my gosh, I am so frustrated right now. Let's try to go a little bit broader. See, that site is full of Trojans. Biblical Hebrew. Let's see. Gosh. One second, guys. It was easier for me to actually look for the physical book. Imperfect conjugation. Okay. All right. Incomplete action, imperfect. That's where corresponds to grammars. An imperfect verb with an incomplete action, meaning describing the event without having the end of the event in view. This is contrast to the all right, let's see. Iterative, customary, potential imperfect, can, non, do or be something similar to the call followed by the definitive process, forceful. Missive, no. Want to, that's desire. We're getting close. Must, prohibitive imperfect, conditional imperfect, imperfect after telic, preterite, this is so frustrating. All right, let's just see if we got a technical grammar that will go into it, because I'm striking out here. I'm almost certain that that's a connotative imperfect, but I gotta prove that. Let's go to bestcommentaries.com. And let's just limit it to Logos. I ain't got no time to mess with anything else. Okay, this is Anchor Yale Bible. Do I have this one? No, I don't. No, that's not Anchor Yale anyway. I don't think that will have anything. That's not technical enough. Hamilton might. Do I have this one? Yes, I do have this one. Okay. $78.36. Yeah, this looks like it may be good for us. You're really not going to deal with that passage? Come on. If I have this one. No. Estes might deal with it. Oh my, come on. All right, new plan. All right. Psalms 78, Hebrew syntax exegesis. On the William Lane, that didn't help us. Let's do Psalms thing, Hebrew exegetical paper. I'm gonna check Chisholm's book now. Oh my gosh. What a waste. All right. I'll check the journal articles. Maybe I can go through that way. Psalm 78. It's taking so long. Is it that many? Goodness gracious. Lemma and passage, we can do it that way. It just gives me Alan Ross. Okay, let's try this. Connotative imperfect. It should not be this hard to find. Okay, here's the UBS. Anchor Bible? Come on, yeah, that might help. Hermine. I can't even get past the first answer. This is horrible. And CONA. Okay, let's go to Google Books. Ah, come on. Is there a connotative vayikto in biblical Hebrew? My gosh, it took me forever to get here. Let's now look more closely at Sadon. That's the JSTOR article we saw earlier. Let us now look more closely at Sadon's claim that vayikto can have a connotative meaning. According to him, there are 6 vayikto verbs in the Bible, including vayitzlechu, that deserve consideration as evidence for his thesis. Unfortunately, as hinted above, the thesis conflates 2 distinct concepts. Although the title of his study mentions only the connotative imperfect, its first words are the volative or connotative idea. Later in that paragraph, he speaks of the volative nuance. And later in the article, he translates 2 of his 6 examples with wanted instead of tried. That's related to the wish idea. In my opinion, these 2 meanings must be considered distinct until proven otherwise. The distinction is clear, and I wanted to say my valuables. Yeah, but that's complementary infinitive. But it was too dangerous even to try. Even to try. In any event, it's not difficult to demonstrate all 6 of Satan's proof texts can and should be interpreted differently. Here are Satan's examples and arguments, followed by responses to them. Okay, so yeah. All right. Okay. So maybe if I mention that guy again, what was his name? Say something. Oh man, finally, I was not going insane. I knew it was in one of these grammars. It's in Walkie. Okay, there's the PB Satan article. Is that all you're gonna say? Let's see if I can find this article. Okay, connotative sense. Book of Genesis, the Hamilton, which I think I have him in Logos as well. Let's see what I can get here. Let's see if Hamilton. Okay, I do have Genesis. Which volume is that? 18 through 50. Conativ. Conativ. Why in the world is this so difficult? Page 55. Cognitive sense. All right, so maybe I can do it that way. Cognitive sense. Big biblical Hebrew. Oh my gosh. All right, well, let me try. All New Testament stuff. Okay. No, that's... I don't understand it. I found it. Hebrew Poel stem has a connotative sense. Okay. Connotative sense. connotative sense. Okay, verb system of classical Hebrew and the Joseph story. Connotative imperfect. Everything goes back to this Vitam Testamentum article. The meaning of what? Come on, load. It's loading right now, guys. To answer your question, Josh, I use the NASB because it's just keyed to everything in my Logos. Yeah, I saw that King's Table. You said it's just easier to join that. I'm glad y'all are enjoying yourself over here while I'm racking my brain. I mean, like I know what it is. I just gotta prove it. I've read so much stuff over the years, I don't remember where it's located. I know it's in one of my intermediate Hebrew books. But while this is loading, I'm going to look at another one. All right, let's see what we're working with here. Oh, ready? Better download it because it looks like it's not going to want to work the way I want. No, that's the wrong one. Oh, it's not done loading. That's why. Come on. It's almost there. Phrase, not frown. CONATIV. Okay, there's the article. Oh my gosh. Struck out there. Let's see if I can get this Vetus Testamentum, volume 12. Okay, Vetus Testamentum, volume 12. Let's see if we can get it right here. Okay, so maybe I'll do something different is I'll search for this name across all my resources. Let's try that. Catholic commentary on scripture. Okay, there's the Genesis 3:15 thing. That came up in discussion earlier. All right, maybe this is the best I could do. The sinful husband will try to be a tyrant over his wife. P.B. Slade in the Cognitive Imperfect in Hebrew Vita Testament in 12 applies a connotative meaning, i.e. one that expresses not fact but attempt or endeavor, to Genesis 3:15. He will attack you in the head and you will try to attack him in the heel. There may be similar connotative imperfect here, and he shall try to rule over you. The meaning removes indicative force from yimso. Okay, so let's do this. Connotative imperfect. Psalms 78. And this. I mean, guys, you could tell, you see right there what a connotative imperfect is. He was trying to run. I'm just not. I wanted to find Hebrew demonstrating that. Yeah, raising the dead. Contact SFT. Okay. So here's the bottom line, guys. Psalms 78:36. But they deceived him with their mouth and they lied to him with their tongue. The issue, I think, is that they didn't translate the force of the verb in these translations that are like this. Because this should have been taken as a connotative imperfect. So Exodus 24:7. All the people the Lord has spoken, we would do it in obedience, and they deceived him with their mouth. All right. I'm still not done. Contemporary commentaries. I got all these commentaries. It's not helping me one bit. Not on this issue. Yeah, read along. All right, there's another way. Let's just do a close all this. I wonder what could this be one? This looks like a cool commentary, but all right, I'm gonna go to Chat GPT. My goodness. Explain the connotative imperfect Hebrew syntax force translated as deceived. Get out the way, Grammarly. Get out of the way. As deceived. All right. Okay, ChatGPT hit on the very thing I wanted from the very beginning. The phrase deceived him with their mouths utilizes a Hebrew verb in the imperfect tense, which often conveys an incomplete or ongoing action. In this context, let's see, where is it? No, it's this one right here. In Hebrew grammar, the imperfect tense can sometimes be used to describe actions that are intended or attempted, known as a connotative imperfect. This means the people of Israel were continually trying to deceive God with their flattery and insincere speeches, as reflected in translations as they flattered him with their mouths. I should have went to ChatGPT from the very beginning. Okay. Take the role of my advanced biblical Hebrew professor and explain to me what the Hebrew grammars say about the connotative imperfect in Psalms 78:36. Hey, MMA. All right. One second.
Native imperfect refers specifically to the use of the imperfect tense to express attempts or efforts to perform an action, rather than the completion of the action itself. In Psalm 78:36, the phrase deceived him with their mouths involves the Hebrew verb, nadaru, which is in the imperfect tense. This form is used here to describe the Israelites' ongoing and repeated attempts to deceive God with their insincere words. The conative force of the imperfect in this context emphasizes that their deceit was not a one-time act but a continual effort to mislead. The imperfect tense is versatile in Hebrew and is not strictly tied to future actions, although it often appears in that context. Instead, it expresses actions that are not yet complete, thus fitting well with the idea of repeated or habitual attempts to deceive. For further exploration of this topic, consider these sources. The Blue Letter Bible resource on Hebrew grammar explains the imperfect tense as expressing an incomplete condition. 1. https://www. David Guzik's commentary on Psalm 78 provides additional insights into the context and meaning of the verse, highlighting the persistent nature of the Israelites' deceit. 6. Globe with Meridian sources. BlueLetterBible.org, The Imperfect Tense, Hebrew Grammar. BeHebrew.biblical.
Yeah, I believe that's what's going on there. I really do. And I thought I was going to get into more, but hey, I solved one. They should have translated it as attempted to deceive. They tried to deceive me. You know, that's what I think. And so Brian, you should have told me you were backstage. I didn't know you were backstage. I just saw. Well, I'm just looking at the comments now. That one thing I'm searching out wore me out. Well, besides working. Looking at the comments. Right, God can't be flattered. You're right, Keith. Right, and it's an anthropopathism too, yeah. I might lose this one. Oh man, y'all been having too much fun in the chat. Wow. Thanks, Daily Gripe. Wow, lots of people in the chat. Acadia, you got to tell people you're behind the chat, Ryan. It isn't just for Charles and Peaceful Banana only. Oh well, no, it isn't that. You're being all kind of Eeyore-ish. Oh well, nobody loves me. I'm gonna go somewhere else. Don't do that, man. Yes, Ashley, I'm going through the content of his site, but I don't recommend you go there. It's got Trojans all over the place. It's got more Trojans than a convenience store. Anyway. Yeah, well, Raisin can debate me on healing eventually. That's fine. He's got to contact SFT. All right, guys, I'm going to land the plane. I'm sorry I wasn't more interactive in the chat, but I was trying to chase that down. It frustrates me so much because I know one of these grammars has it in there. I mean, I already know the concept. A connotative imperfect. I know that's what it is. But if you're going into something like this, you need to be able to prove it. I did find other resources for other books that talked about the connotative imperfect for the Hebrew and the connotative sense. But I wanted to find something more specific. But it's all right. You know. Oh well, I got into the Hebrew. It's been a while since I've been in the Hebrew, so I'm glad for that. You know, sometimes it's drudgery, you know, to go through it like that. But all right, guys, I'm gonna land the plane. Y'all check out more content, old stuff, new stuff. God bless, guys.